lovely people, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for your support. Now today's class we shall be looking at how to make a gypsy dress. Okay, a long gypsy dress with shirts with buttons down to the half length and a collar. Okay, all right. So here I have my half length cut out. First of all, I'm working with a length of 62 inches. That is the full length of the dress. Okay, and I have my half length to be 16 inches. So what I have to do first is for me to calculate. Okay, because looking at the picture you see that it has a two-step, which makes it our gypsy gown, okay, or Caribbean gown. Okay, all right. So here the first thing we have to consider is where the first gather. First is the waist. Okay, the first gather is at the waist, while the second one is at the knee side or on top the knee, like 2 inches before the knee. Okay, so you take a measurement from your shoulder to that knee length. So when I take mine, I have 38 inches. Okay, so what I have to do is to take out my 38 from my 62, which is the actual length. So when I do so, I have 24 inches. Okay, 38, which is from the shoulder to before my knee, is 38 inches. So when I take it out from the actual measurement, which is 62 inches, I'll be having 24 inches. All right. Okay, so that will give us the down part. 24 inches will be the down part of the gather. Okay, so the 38 inches we have, we will take it out from our half length. Okay, remember that the 38 inches is from the shoulder to before our knee length. Okay, so that 38 minus the 16, which is the half length, we have 22 inches. So the first thing we will cut out is our half length, which is the 16 inches. Then the second one is the first gather, which is from the waist to the before the knee, is 22 inches, while the last one is 24 inches. So when you add up 16, 22 and 24, it will still give us our 62 inches. So anyone you are cutting, make sure you add up an allowance for joining. Okay, all right. So for this first one, I have my 17 inches here. Okay, I have my 17 inches cut out here. So the first thing I have to do, when you look at here, I have an excess part of about 2 inches. So I folded it in using my iron. So this will serve as our casing for the button. This will serve as the casing for the button. Okay, so our measurement will be starting from those points. So here I have the shoulder to be 15 inches. I added extra half an inch to it to give me 16 inches, which is 8. Okay, 15 inches is 7.5. Added extra half an inch for the joining to make it 8 inches. Then I'll mark 3 inches for our shoulder slope. I'll mark 3 inches for the shoulder slope. Then coming down here, I will mark 1 inch and connect to the shoulder slope. Then our half length is 19 inches into 2 to give us 9.5. And I can as well take my 8 inches here. Then I'll connect it with a straight line. I'll connect this with a straight line. Then I'll connect my shoulder slope. So at this point now, I'll draw a straight line here to take our bust measurement. The bust I'm working with is 40 inches. Divide by 4 will give us 10 inches. Sorry. So from here now, I will take our 10 inches. I'll take our 10 inches. So remember that this is a short, so you don't have to be tight, so that when you button it up, it won't be revealing the inner parts or inner wears. Okay, so I'll be adding extra inches to it. So the inches plus my ears, I will add 2 inches. Okay, coming to the waist I'm working with is 33 inches. Divide by 4 to give us by 3 inches to give us 8.25. 8.25. Then I'll add 2 inches to it. So I'm going to connect this now. So for us to get our armhole, we have to look for the midpoint. And the midpoint I have here is 9.5. So our midpoint should be 4.75. Okay. So I'm going to connect this to the armhole. So for the neck line, so here I'll be using half an inch for the back. Remember, it's a collar neck. So 3 inches here for the neck depth, and here I'll be using 2.5 inches for the neck width. 2.5 inches. Okay, so I'm going to connect to this half inch, and I'm going to connect to this 3 inches here. I'm going to connect to this 3 inches, and I'm going to connect to this half inch here. Okay, so this is what we have for the upper part. So I'll just go ahead now and cut this out. So I'll just separate this. So this now is our back part, while the other one is the front. So I just want to mark this here, so that I will reconnect this again to cut out our front neckline. So this is the front piece. So I'll just go ahead now and determine how full I want my gypsy to be. Then I'll use that to cut out the two down, the 22 inches and the 24 inches. Remember, when you are cutting, add up an allowance for joining and for the hemming of the down part. Okay, so I'll just go to my machine now, use my hemming gun to hold this, then run a stretch stitch here to hold this down this way. Okay, and the other side. Then after that, I will join the two shoulders together before we cut out our collar neck. Okay, so here I'll stitch up this straight like this. Okay, and I also join this at the down part here. Because this is a female shirt, it should be facing at the right side. Okay, this wrap should be facing at the left hand. Okay, left hand side. But if it's for male, it should be facing at the right hand side. Okay, so here, and I've also joined the shoulder. So what I have to do now is to measure my neck round. Okay, so what I have, I'll use it to cut out my collar with collar stand. Okay, so I have 15 inches. Alright, I have 15 inches here. So I'll use this now to cut out my collar. Okay, as you can see that here is the folded part. So I folded it into two this way. Okay, so that I'll be cutting both the facing together. So I'll just fold us into 2 now. Remember that what we have is 15 inches. Divide by 2 to give us 7.5. So here I'm having 8.25. Okay, that should be giving us 16 and a half. All right. So what I have to do now, is to come up. What I have to do now is to come up by 1.5. Okay, 1.5 inches. Then I'll also go in by 1.5 inches. Okay, so from this now, instead of going this way, now I've done a tutorial on going this way. It will give us a pencil mouth, that's kind of a penciled mouth. So now I don't want to go this way. So what I have to do is now I will go, and I don't want to go straight. So I'll just go inward small this way. Okay, so that when we close the button, it will fit in properly. So just this way. Alright. So either you leave it in the block form like this, or you just make a little curve here. Right. So I'll just use this little curve. Okay. So I'll use this now to cut out my colored gum stay, the thickest one. Okay, I'll use it to cut out, but I'm not cutting out both for the facing and for the main part. I'll just use it to cut out only for one side. Alright, I'll just use my iron, place it this way, and I'll iron it out so that it will come to only one side. Then after that, I will now attach it. I will close up here this way. Then I will turn it out. Use my iron to iron it to be flat. Then I will now attach it to the collar neck. Then make sure that the place that this gum stay is will be the part that is touching the neck line. Okay, that will be touching your neck. Okay, so that will be all for the upper part. All right, so we go ahead to cut out the down part. Here now you determine if you want how big you want your gathers to be. If you want to use up to 3 yards, if you want to use less than 3 yards, okay, that all depends on what you want. Okay, so I think I'll be using 2.5. Okay, I'll be using 2.5 yard for the first one. All right, I'll be using 2 yards for the upper part. Then I will use 2.5 for the down part, because I don't want it to be that bogus. And I'll be also adding a lining for the first part, so that is why I said I'll be using 2 yards, okay, for the upper part, which is 22 inches. Then for the 24 inches I'll be using 2.5 inches. So I'll just go ahead now and cut it out. Remember, add allowance to your actual measurement so that it will not got a shortage of length after sewing the clothes. So I'll just do just that and do the joining, and I'll come back and show you how we'll be cutting the sleeve. Okay, coming to the sleeve, I have my fabric folded into 4. I want to cut the left and the right sleeve together. Okay, so I want to make a little bit of free sleeve that will have an elastic at the end. Okay, so I want to use the length of 18 inches. So I don't want it to be long, so that I will have enough fabric to fold the down part where I'll be inserting the elastic. So I'll be using 18 inches both for the folding. So I can just adjust it to this and make use of this line. Okay. I've made a tutorial on how to cut a perfect sleeve. So if you don't really understand what I'm doing, please you can just watch my previous video. I'll put the link on the description part, so you can just click on it and watch. Okay, at this down part here where the elastic will be, I'll be making use of 10 inches, but I don't want it to be that big. So from this part now, I will just okay, I'll just connect it to this part. So this is for my front and my back sleeve. Okay, one other thing, at the down parts I want to put a pocket at the side. Okay, remember I said you're going to cut out a long inch of 2.5 inches, sorry, 2 yards, 2.5 yards, okay, of fabric at the upper part. It's like I said 2 yards before, but I want to make use of 2.5 yards for the up part and 3 inches for the down part. All right, so at the upper part, which is the 22 inches, I'll be dividing it into two, so that I will have my joining at the both side, okay, not having only one joining that's supposed to be at the back. So now I will cut out the 2.5 yard with the length of 23 inches. I added extra 1 inch for my joining of the to join at the upper part and to join the down part. Okay, so I will divide it into two. When I cut out the 2.5 yards, I'll cut it into two. Then I will gather one at the front part and gather the other one at the back part. I will hold it using my body measurement. I will hold the side of the upper part, which is the half length. Then I also hold it at the down part, but at one side I'll be adding pocket at the both side, and I'll also add my invisible zip. Okay, I'll be adding a zip at the side also with the pocket. So I'll be teaching you how to put your pocket and also put insert your zip at the same side. All right, okay, so we'll go to the machine and we'll do the joining together. But for the down parts, I will not be dividing it into two, okay, which is the 24 inches length. I won't divide it into two. I will just weave off the mouth first, because I want to make my pleat on top the upper part. So that's why I said I will join everything before I now add the back okay, or you can also decide to divide it. Since we don't have a joining at the middle part of the back again, you can also just divide it so that all your joinings will be at the sides. Okay, all right, so we go to the machine and do just that. Okay, now as you can see, I've weaved up the mouth and I also weave up this part. Okay, so I've made a loose stitch and I gathered it. So I'm just going to place this on top like so. Okay, just going to place this on top of this using half an inch of this and half an inch of this. Okay, then I'm going to run a stitch here across the front part, and I'll also do the same at the back piece. Okay, now I've gathered the thing up at this waistline. So now I'm trying to close up the body sides, all right, but from the waist, when after I sewed up to this half length, then I'll come down by 1 inch. All right, I'll come down by 1 inch like so. Stop here. Okay, I'll stop my stitch here. Then from this 1 inch now, I'll take a measurement of 5 inches. So I'll take a measurement from this 1 inch. I'll measure 7 inches, okay, to this point. Okay, from this 1 inch now, I'll sew to this 7 inches. Then I will stop. Okay, so this is where our pocket will be sitting. All right, so I will stop my stitch here and then continue from those 7 inches down to the down part, okay, before attaching the lower gather. Okay, now I'll be fixing my zip. I have my invisible zip here. So what I'm going to do now is to fix this first. I'll fix at one end, I'll fix at this side, I will fix it at this side, then I will start at this other side, then reaching at that 1 inch that we measured, I will stop. Then I will finish up this part from the 7 inches down to where the zip ends, okay, because this one part of the zip will be attached to the pockets, okay. So that is why we will not be stitching it out, because if you close the 2 sides, that means the pockets won't have a place to sit, okay. So one side of the zip will be attached to the one side of the pocket, okay. Okay, I've fixed up the zip, okay. I've fixed up the zip at this end. So as you can see that this place is still open. So what I have to do now is to attach my pocket, then I will stitch up this side, okay. I will stitch up one side to the body, all right, then stitch up the other edge of the pocket direct to the zip, okay. I'm going to stitch this direct to the zip, all right.